Hello, hello. We are live. So I'll just go ahead and say, hey there, YouTube, Slasher Chicks and Slasher Dudes. My name's Alicia, and this is Slasher Chick TV, where we like to talk about growth mindset and negotiation strategy. So you never have to choose between this or that. You can always say yes to this/that. Woo, that's a mouthful when I didn't make sure I had something to drink before I got in here. Let me put on some music real quick and go do that. I made the mistake of going outside today, and I don't know if this is allergies or what, but we're going to push through. Hi, Coach Sherry. I did make it, and I saw that you made it today with the Empowerment Conference, so congratulations on that as well. Okay, so let me get my music together. Let's try another one to this today. Let's try this. What does night driving sound like? Oh, I kind of like that one. All right, let me leave this night driving on for 1 second while I go grab some water and prepare myself. I'm sorry, I should have done this already on. So yeah, Coach Sherry, I was just there. That was before I had to step out when I heard you say you definitively have committed to the 60 days of streaming. So yay! I hope to be there for the rest of it. Okay, so my nose is itching. I think that means somebody's supposed to come visit you. But yeah, in going outside, I now have, like, my nose won't stop running, and I blame the allergies or something. I don't know, because I wasn't having that problem until I went outside today. I am not my size. I'm trying to work up towards that. Now, I'll show you I've been tracking my progress, and I use this app called YT Tracker, because that's literally all it tracks is your subscribers and your watch hours, and then the other one is like shorts. Oh my gosh, whoever's coming to visit me, they know better than they show up unannounced. Like, we have not had this conversation. So anyway, I am so far away from monetization as a possibility. I'm only at 25 watch hours out of the 4,000 needed. But yeah, you use YT Tracker too. One of the reasons I like YT Tracker is because the developer, he also has an active YouTube channel. Like, he likes to talk to people who have questions about the app, or and he really takes feedback. So I really like that particular app for YT tracking. But yeah, I am so looking forward to finally getting at the point where it says I have 1% towards my goal of watch hours. But right now we're just at 0.6%. I celebrated getting to the 0.5%. Yeah, we're looking forward to 40 watch hours right now. And yeah, I really appreciate that. So tonight, one of the things I had been thinking about, I got recommended this video the other day about Octavia Butler, and oh my goodness, hold on, I have to scratch my nose again. Oh, I hate having to scratch your nose on camera. I do think, yeah, the going live has helped, but what I also need to do is be creating content in addition to going to the lives, and that's what I have not been doing. But while I do have you, Coach Sherry, this is what I was going to show yesterday. So I did get this set up. so that I could show it today. So, because I was saying for my booktube channel, once I started that, I was like, okay, let me use this as an example of testing out all the things I do know about YouTube. And my first next step was to at least list out all the things I would possibly do as content for that channel. So I literally just like brain dumped every idea I had, and in the fields that I have, if this is supposed to be where I manage my content for that channel, on where I am in the process here. But everything on here right now is in planning stage. Now this is to determine, this is also, so I'm doing other content to promote it. But this is meant to be my main content calendar. So in at least brain dumping them all out, then at least then I can put them in a calendar view. And when they don't have a scheduled date, like, because I'm way behind on this channel, so I haven't done, what was the last, oh, I did the Girl Scout cookie book tag, but I haven't done these other ones. And I haven't finished this reviewing all. Oh, what I ended up doing was in the Girl Scout cookie book tag, I reviewed the 2 fiction books I read in 2023 that prompted me to start a booktube channel. So technically I did those in the same way. But the idea was that, okay, worst case scenario, when I don't know what to do, I can always go back to my parking lot here and then say, okay, for this date, I'll pull in this one. Now, yeah, this represents what I would like to be doing, at least posting twice a week. But so far on this channel for the booktube, I've consistently posted once a week for the last month. But yeah, I actually have to get up a video tomorrow to still be on track with that. So I haven't done this 2 times a week, but I've at least been on the once a week. Now, trying to do that for this channel, though, is where it feels a little more difficult. Now, let me see. I feel like I may have started that somewhere, but hadn't gotten very far. But as of all the different options to use for things like this, I personally like Airtable the best. I mean, you could certainly use Notion or um, what else could one use? I mean, you could even use an Excel spreadsheet, honestly, and like a Google sheet. But oh, I did start the slasher trick one. So I had started this one. Um, but I feel a sneeze coming on. Hold on. But I only started, I didn't get to the point where I even have 52 ideas to make sure I have one for each week. And I haven't plotted them on any kind of calendar as far as a public publishing schedule. I just started to like empty them out. So that's one of the things I would need to do during my batch task section, is to finish brain dumping some of those ideas and then mapping them out on a calendar. But with what I would, yeah, Notion I think really would work really well for this. I don't know why I don't like it for this. It's just me and what I want it to look like. Because like you said, you use Notion for your groceries. I love using Notion for list, and especially list I want to like tie to other things when you need, your own like relational database for your own life. But for some reason when I try to use it for this, I can't I can't wrap my brain around the setup I want, and I've yet to find someone else's template that works for me. But since we're on the subject of Notion, my one thing I do love that I built in Notion is my travel planner template. Now this I'm pretty proud of. Okay, I'm gonna share this. And I need to use this myself to start to plan some trips for this year, because I think I had talked about this before, how I started solo traveling this last year. Um, and we do planning for next week today and tomorrow. Yes, that is the goal. I did some today, but just not um, to the point of completion that I could show someone. Okay. Now on my travel planner. Oh, wait, does this make me view it large? Oh, this was my travel planner I built for my solo travel, particularly because it made it a lot easier too to just share this with my mom. Like, all right, mom, here's all the things then. So, and gave me a place to put the things as I was starting to plan. So then this is my section for the transportation and lodging of like all your flight and my checklist. The grocery list is what made me think of this, Coach Cherry, because I'll put 4 different stuff at my checklist right in there. Um, if you have a car rental, your hotel, any meeting or appointments that you have while you're there, and then your departing flight. So that's in the transportation and lodging section. And then I like to put what I'm going to be doing for each day in there so I can see like a week at a glance. And that also helps me decide as a solo traveler, like if I'm like, I don't want to do that, I can like move things around in that way. And then I have, some other lists that if I want to plan my outfits, then I go into the wardrobe part of the planner. My packing list for in this section, an expense tracker for planning out some of the stuff like the activities you might want to do beforehand. What else did I include in here? Oh, I've never used this one actually, but if you really wanted to plan out that itinerary all the way, you could, have this too. Um, And as I am a firm believer of making sure you get photo shoots on all your travels, perhaps you want to post them to your social media. So while you're there. Um, and then this is just the calendar view of all the things that you might do. Now, I did also make this oh, I realized it is not sharing the right part. I was sharing the wrong screen. Here we go. All right, really quick. This is the parts I was talking about though. Transportation and lodging section. The day by day, so you can see the weekend at a glance. The wardrobe section, your packing list, the expense tracker, and the detailed itinerary here. If you want to break down like every date by time, I added this because I do want to use that for my Amsterdam trip, and a social media calendar should you be posting. Now, and here I'll put this. I did make this into a template, Coach Sherry. So, how do I share this template? Is this the one? I think this will work. I don't know. We're about to find out. But this should let you use this one as a template and make one of your own by like copying it, and then you can make it in your own. Now, I need to use one of these to plan my trip back to Waikiki. Oh my gosh, it's been 7 months. Oh, because I just love that place. It's one of my favorite places in the world because I love the beach and the mountains. An ideal location for me is somewhere where I'm like 2 hours between both. But I also really like a city. And in Waikiki, you were in a city literally between the beach and the mountains. Like you can go like this and see one, go like this and see the other, and be in the city at the same time. It is just the most amazing place in the world as far as I am concerned. Okay, yeah, let's see how this works. I think I sent the wrong one because there's one idea. I made a template. Let's see if I did this right. Hold on. But hopefully I'll get the request to that one because it didn't pop up yet. But oh, there it is. Hold on. Boom. Okay. Access approved. Yeah, it is a dream. That is exactly it is a dream. I have never felt such separation anxiety leaving a place as I did leaving Waikiki. And that's exactly how I felt. It had all my favorite things all in one place. And on top of that, the people are nice and friendly. It's just, oh, I love that place. So that's one place that I keep a Google Flight Tracker to try to make sure I can find last minute flights. And good good segue into a location where I feel at home and loved in. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier this week had been I told the story. You're welcome. I told the story of how I manifested my. I used the title "Manifesting My Dream Life" specifically about like my work and having work that I love. And I have not been to Destin, but I have been told that it should be on my list as one of the places I should definitely check out. Because one place I do also really love is Naples, Florida. I love the Gulf water is so warm and it feels like a nice like hug from the ocean. So I think I would like Destin. But in talking about manifestation, it got me thinking about, well, I don't know. Actually, I got recommended this video and I realized we forget more things than we can remember sometimes. So this guy was talking about the Octavia Butler method of how he was trying to manifest, and he kept saying, "So be it, see to it." And I'm like, why does that sound so familiar? Like, I know I'm familiar with this. And so I decided to Google it, and I'm like, yes, I knew I was familiar with this Octavia Butler letter. Now, in case you're not familiar with Octavia Butler, she is a science fiction writer. She is known as the queen of Afrofuturism. And for me personally, I did not realize I liked science fiction until Octavia Butler. I knew the stories that I liked. I just didn't know it was called science fiction. That's because I never really associated science fiction with Black people, to be quite honest. And Octavia Butler was the person who shifted that for me for sure, and realizing like, no, we have always been telling these stories. And so one of these things that so one of Octavia Butler's books, the most well-known one is Kindred. Um and that later was most recently adapted into a series on, I forgot what channel. I didn't watch it because I thought they did a poor job. And because they changed some of the things. So Kindred tells the story of a woman who time travels back into slavery time, and this Black woman does happen to be married to a white man. Now, when they retold the story in the series, they're not married. And that for me was just a huge change to the book that I'm like, you can't take that out of the relationship because it really impacts how things occur when both he and her go back to the past together. That it just is not, it's not realistic to not. They had the nerve to end the series, make this interracial couple like a one night stand, and then he just happened to have to go back to like the antebellum South with her, and I'm like, absolutely not, absolutely not. That no, no. Um, but she also had has another series of like a three-part series called The Parable of the Sower. That starts one, and then it's followed by, I believe, Amajo, and I forgot the name of the other one, but that's actually one of the books that is referenced here. But Kindred, I would say, is definitely her most well-known story. But she's definitely someone that, like, if you like science fiction, whether black, white, orange or not, you have likely read or heard of an Octavia Butler story. And one of the things that she is also known for a it was one of the I want to say the Hudson Library, but one of the libraries found a lot of her old writings. Particularly, she had writings in this commonplace book that she would, yeah, write her own stories in, the stories for herself. And let me see if I can zoom in a little bit to make this, yeah, a little bit bigger. Okay, and so this was the story that she had written for herself on the back of one of her commonplace notebooks. Yeah, she passed away at only 58. I shall be a best-selling writer. After Imago, that was in the series. Each of my books will be on the bestsellers list of, I don't know what LAT stands for, but New York Times, PW, WP. My novels will go on to the above list, whether publishers push them hard or not, whether I'm paid a high advance or not, whether I win another award or not. This is my life. I write best-selling novels. My novels go onto the bestsellers list on shortly after publication. My novels each travel up to the top of the bestseller list, and they reach the top and they stay on top for months, at least two. Each of my novels do this, so be it, see to it. I will find a way to do this, so be it, see to it. And then she goes on to say, my books will be read by millions of people. I will buy a beautiful home in an excellent neighborhood. I will send poor Black youngsters to Claren or other whitest workshops. I will help poor Black youngsters broaden their horizons. I will help poor Black youngsters go to college. I'll get the best of healthcare for my mother and myself. I will travel whenever and wherever in the world that I choose. My books will be read by millions of people. So be it. See to it. And that was just one of her writings that were found about how she really wrote her own story. And it just continued to be an example of one of the things that I was talking about earlier this week, as far as the really bringing the things that you want into your life by being focused and writing yourself into your own story. And so we all have that kind of power to do so. And I just thought she was a great example to show, as someone who really did, in many ways, bring this to fruition. Now, Coach Cherry, since you're here, I actually there was another thing that came up when I was searching for this that very much reminded me of you. And you'll see when I show it here. So she used to also just, I think you had talked about the book, The Morning Pages, but she used to also write like her answers to questions that she had, that she was trying to solve for in life, for her own life, and kind of writing out, to an extent, I would say, what she wanted to happen with those things. But I'll touch on what I thought was surprising as well. But this is the part here I'll show that reminded me of you, Coach Cherry, and how you talked about your note taking, um, and how this is the one, how just at a glance you know what's what. So she has these notes here, and off to the left is like what the subject line is, like what the theme is. So one is about call Doubleday, and she says, I can call Doubleday on Monday morning and try to get them to move faster. Surely I should do this, but part of this experience caused me to wonder whether this will be worth the long distance money. In the past, Sharon has said not necessarily, gently, when I wanted something that seemed reasonable to me, tough. And Veronica has answered once. And so in this other section, she writes in here about get a job. And she writes down at the bottom, like, oh, this is terrible. I'm owed at least $3,000. Yeah, I cannot pay the rent. My utilities are about to fall behind because I must use the only money I have to buy food. I'm not poverty stricken. I am poverty stricken. And found that so surprising that being someone who obviously realized the power of her words, that she would continue to repeat that story about the being poverty stricken and not begin to use that as an opportunity to start, continuing to write her new story. And she would write so many things that were obviously the things that were shaping her, you know, shaping her world. One of which also being this. Let me see if I can show this here. She wrote down all of her, I guess I would say, I don't know, values. Um, so there's a great article about it on NPR. Would be one place. I'll put it in the chat, Coach Sherry, on one of the places. But this particular article here is also a good place to start. Here we go. Stupid nose itching. But really, when I started to search it, because I was just like, I knew it was familiar to me, and I was like, let me just search this Octavia Butler letter because I knew I had seen it before, but I just didn't know, where or how. But this is why it was so surprising to me, because she would write even down like her values, or like this is one of the things that I found pretty interesting. Let me see. Slides. Oh, okay, here we go. This will do it. Oh, darn it. It doesn't show it. Hold on. Maybe I can show it this way. All right, I'll try it this way. Okay, trying it this way, you can see what I'm talking about here. I'm gonna zoom the wrong way, but hopefully get to. Okay, did that wrong, y'all. That does not get me to where I was trying to get to. But what she says that are the essentials of success are persistence and determination, self-discipline, imagination and creativity, excellence, specific goals, specialized knowledge, adaptability, responsibility, cooperation. And this is what's on a page where she had written down, all of her things that she values. But at the top of the page, she writes from Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. Whatever the human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so that's why it's just so surprising to me that then the same person would continue to, write their own story of poverty. So, hey, Finley River Kennels, it's so nice to see you. But Coach Cherry says, this was so much more, this is so much more powerful being in her handwriting and not a computer. It's so much more personal. Yes, I totally agree. That made the difference, seeing it in her own writing and really seeing how she brought that to fruition too. I think I may have made my zoom in a little bit too zoomed in here. and how relevant the words still are. Absolutely. And just seeing how also, I think the thing that I appreciated was that she would also write about very specific things, like even just like how she wants a meeting to go that day. It didn't necessarily have to be all large and big things, but even just um, segmenting out some different parts of her life. And Coach Cherry acknowledges she was conflicted. And I think here's what my guess is if I had to make some assessments from afar. Um, it really is a pleasure seeing you. I was just on your channel the other day because I go to check and see what's going on, and I saw that you had a new puppy that was being trained, and I just I'm so glad to see you here because always makes me feel warm and fuzzy to go stop by your channel because you are the place I go watch when I'm having bouts of insomnia, and I can go out on your hunts with you when I'm up super late, but it's super early for you. So appreciate that you are here. Yes, Coach Cherry, we have very much a lot of things that are in common that I think I'm looking forward to our continued YouTube collaboration here, whether whether we do it on purpose or it continues to happen by accident here. Um, but yeah, here's if I had to guess about the conflict, and is that I think, oftentimes you'll have beliefs that are in conflict as well. Like if she could be fully aware of the power of her words, but and be reading Think and Grow Rich and simultaneously have not released the belief of, um, if you think like rich people are hoarding resources or something like that. But it struck me as odd in that, one of her things that she really wanted to do was be able to give back, introduce children to the arts and give them other venues and to express their talents and things that, they may not be gifted in STEM, but that doesn't mean they're not gifted in the arts, and finding other ways to do that. And how you going to do that without money though, right? Like it's like an imperative to get the money if you want to give back. I don't But that's, yeah, whatever conflict she was experiencing is one that I really am very intrigued by. Uh Especially to pass so young. And now there was a future writing in which she was able to pay off her mom's home, and I know that was something that was really important to her to be able to financially take care of her mother. So I do know that eventually she did achieve more financial success in a lifetime, but certainly not the financial success that had could have been possible had she worked on some of those limiting beliefs. um but I think, Coach Sherry, you've talked on this too, is that, as you mentioned, like some of those beliefs can be so strong, and in order to shift some of those, there are things that we would have to do to get, out of our head and into our body to practice those things and continue to make those shifts. So Finley River Kennels to St. Coach Cherry, I raise and train raccoon hunting dogs. My bloodline's been in my family since 1969. Yes, and they take care of their family. That's the best way I can describe it. And being from South Carolina, it makes me feel like I'm home. So no, she did not have any children. Octavia Butler was unmarried and did not have children when she passed away. Now, at least from what I researched, that was by design. Like that was, I don't think she was too upset about that. I think that was actually the life that she chose. Actually, it was actually a life that she chose because there's another series of her writing where she would start every writing with who is Octavia Butler, where has she been, and where is she going. And she would start with Octavia Butler is a writer, age blah blah blah, who can remember being a writer age 10. And then she would go on and describe, her life and what she wanted to be in her life. And in one of those writings, she specifically described being a social recluse, like that's that's what she wants. So I definitely think, yeah, choosing to not be married and to not have children was a personal choice that was more aligned with the lifestyle that she hoped to have, at least according to her writing. So, um, yes, 1969 was a pretty good year. We're going to claim it. That is in one of my dream cars is a 1969 Mustang convertible. And if I were writing myself into my life, if I were writing my story, I would be writing that as one of my gifts to myself one year, because it's been on my list for quite some time. Um, but see, this is why. This is why I love them. But yeah, we have achieved day 10 of 90 consecutive live streaming days. And I am so, so grateful that y'all were here with me for this 10th day here. I look forward to hopefully seeing y'all tomorrow. Haven't confirmed yet what time I'm going, but um and as I go on these 90 days, I'm considering, like, what would morning streams look like? I don't know. We're going to try some things out here. What success looks like is at the end of 90 days, can I check off a box to say yes or no? Was I on live for at least 30 minutes? And hopefully by the end of this, I'll be able to share with you all what I learned through these 90 days and what the outcome was. But for now, we're just going to pat ourselves on the back here for making it to day 10. We're going to pat you, Coach Sherry, and Finley River Kennels on the back for hanging in there with me, and for having a great day and achieving your goals. Coach Sherry with her continued 60 days of live streaming, and Finley with his fantastic coon hunting farm. I mean, I guess it counts as a farm, right? Kennel. It's a kennel. Duh, it's in the name. All right. I hope you do come check more often. And I want to thank you, friends, and have a great rest of your night.